Et salut à tous, j'espère que vous allez bien. On se retrouve pour la découverte ou la redécouverte de Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, donc de la version Master Collection, vous savez la compilation physique là, qui regroupe les trois premiers Metal Gear que je vous conseille vraiment de toute urgence. Voilà. Donc le B3 c'est un épisode, comment dire, c'est mon préféré, un véritable monument ce jeu, un chef-d'œuvre clairement. Donc c'est voilà, donc je vous propose qu'on redécouvre le jeu. Allez c'est parti, je vais lancer. Hop. Il y a toujours le Master Book et le Screenplay Book, hein, qui est plutôt sympa dans cette version de jeu. Alors on va jouer avec la version européenne. Allez c'est parti, français, nickel. Alors, MGS3. Donc l'histoire se déroule en 1964, durant la guerre froide. Le joueur incarne Naked Snake, un soldat d'élite de l'unité Fox qui deviendra par la suite le futur Big Boss. Sa mission est de libérer Sokolov, un ingénieur soviétique de génie. Hélas, il va se passer des choses voilà, plus ou moins tragiques. Et du coup, vous allez devoir aller bien plus loin que ça. Vous allez voir. Allez, c'est parti. Donc l'écran titre, vous pouvez accélérer, changer les couleurs, zoomer, bon, voilà, interagir, comme d'habitude. Alors, spécial, il y a quoi? Action de base, album photo. Ok. Bon, options. Donc là, dans cette version, ils ont rajouté la vue troisième personne, qui est fort appréciable. Des versions subsistance. À l'époque, sur PS2, c'est un jeu que j'ai fait plein de fois, hein, je le connais assez bien. Après, ça fait plus de 10 ans que j'ai pas joué, donc bon, forcément. Alors, ça, bon, ça vous débloque, si vous faites MGS3, ça vous débloquera des peintures d'office. Donc, je vous conseille de faire jamais MGS3. Allez, c'est parti. On va jouer en normal, hein, tout simplement. Le jeu s'arrête dès que vous avez mis vos repères. Ah, mais quand même. Allez, go. Donc, comme d'habitude, il y aura beaucoup de cinématiques. On verra si on les regarde tous sur des apps. On verra bien. Donc, c'est parti. Merci. Pensez au pouce bleu, les gars, etc. Et dites-moi si vous l'avez fait, ce jeu. Ou si ça vous a plu, hein, si vous avez regardé la rediffusion. Tout est exceptionnel dans le jeu. Mise en scène, boss, tout. Incroyable. Ah oui, j'ai pas précisé, mais c'est sorti sur PS2 en 2004, je crois. Donc voilà. PS2 2004.
Flying over Pakistan, altitude 30,000 feet.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
20 minutes to drop off.
Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute.
All right. You ready to go?
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
Good. We've got high visibility.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch.
Sunrise.
External temperature 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate bailout model.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green.
Prepare for drop off. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings
And fly. God be with you.
Jack, I've got some important news. The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB-754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov? Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin into orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story, so why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the West. We used a mole to get the family out first and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba. And so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov. They wanted us to return Sokolov.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handing him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then, a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No. According to our intelligence, he's in Selino-Yarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us. Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selino-Yarsk in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the West. If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking. Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat-proven.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat Talon?
She's equipped with 2 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as 2 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong, you'll be eating dinner, breakfast, and all the rest of your meals in the jungle. Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
What, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training?
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No. There's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go back and get it then. You know where it is?
No problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, use the send function. Okay, Snake, go get your backpack.
Alors, après cette longue cinématique, donc c'est parti. J'ai oublié de parler aussi qu'il y a un remake qui est en développement de ce jeu, avec des super beaux graphismes, etc. Ça s'appelle Metal Gear Solid Delta, donc j'ai vraiment hâte, hein, de toute façon. Donc c'est parti. Allez, on va récupérer le sac à dos. Avant, on va aller tuer des serpents. Hop là. Mon couteau. Hop. Je crois qu'il y en a un ici. Hein. Tac. Tiens. Donc c'est un jeu évidemment d'infiltration, vous avez compris. Action qui se passe majoritairement dans la jungle, mais pas que. Hop. Allez, on va récupérer le sac à dos. Alors j'essaierai de vous montrer ce que je peux, hein, du jeu. M'embêtez pas si je joue pas hyper bien, c'est surtout que j'ai pas joué. On va essayer de jouer au mieux, quoi. Alors le sac à dos là-haut, hop, monte. Donc évidemment scénario mature, très intelligent, dialogue exceptionnel. On est à faire un jeu haut de gamme, hein, bien évidemment, qui atomise certains jeux récents. Voilà.
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake. To equip a weapon, it's necessary to take it...
Snake, try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
Commencing virtuous mission now.
Alors, du coup, donc faut avancer là-bas, mais avant, on va aller chercher un truc. Bon, je vous ferai un let's play intégral de ce jeu, mais bon, on verra quand j'aurai le temps, parce que là, il y a tellement de jeux à faire qu'on est débordé. Hein. Cette fin d'année est incroyable. Mais je vous ferai un let's play intégral du jeu, il n'y a pas de problème. Ce sera avec plaisir. Même s'il y a le remake qui va sortir, c'est pas grave. Hop. Alors, il y a des trucs à récupérer dans le jeu, des grenouilles, vous voyez là-bas. Faut tirer dessus, il y en a 64 à récupérer. Par contre, je sais plus ce que ça débloque. Je sais plus si c'est le camouflage optique, la balle infinie ou autre chose. Voilà, donc il faut les trouver. Donc bon, il faut servir d'une soluce clairement, sinon c'est impossible. Allez, hop, on va passer par là. En marche arrière, lol. Regarde. C'est quand même plaisir d'avoir cette caméra qui est jouable comme ça, quoi. C'est extrêmement plaisant. Marais de Drebucci. Alors. Ah oui, j'ai pas parlé des camouflages. Vous voyez en haut à droite, il y a un camouflage, bon, j'avance un peu, qui réagit en temps réel avec le décor. Vous voyez là, je suis 15% camouflé là, quand je me 45%, vous voyez, et quand je suis allongé, 80%. Donc ça a une influence sur le champ de vision, enfin le repérage de vos ennemis, quoi. Donc si je change de camouflage, hop, par exemple visage, vous voyez, forêt, là ça a monté aussi, vous voyez, je passe de 15 à 20, 15, bon voilà. Donc là vous avez des masques bonus, hein, c'est pour le délire. On va mettre forêt. Merde. Et pareil pour l'uniforme, vous pouvez changer évidemment. Nu. Feuille. Oui, là ça monte à 50 direct. Donc il faut gérer ces options de camouflage hein, suivant les lieux. Bon après vous n'êtes pas obligé. Hein. Voilà, voilà c'est juste un petit bonus quoi, sympathique. Sac à dos pareil, vous pouvez équiper des armes, vous pouvez les récupérer. Des objets. Vous êtes limité, donc vous voyez 7 sur 8 et 3 sur 8. Donc voilà. Faut bien gérer quoi. Nourriture. Vous pouvez donc vous nourrir hein, dans la nature. Là, il va manger un python. Là, il va me dire excellente récupération. Donc ça vous remet de la santé, etc. On a compris. La carte, bon voilà. C'est assez linéaire au début. Pardon. Allez, c'est parti. Là, il y a des crocodiles. J'ai envie de les endormir, mais bon, on va pas les faire chier, pas après. Ah! Oh putain, foiré. Ah! Eh, des abeilles là, je me rappelais plus de ça, tiens. Donc évidemment, comme tout MGS, interaction avec le décor. C'est pas qu'un vulgaire jeu d'infiltration. Tout est pensé de A à Z. Attendez, c'est quoi ça? Ah d'accord. On va éviter de gaspiller les balles quand même. Allez, on continue. Donc comme... Pardon, je me tais.
Major, I've spotted 2 enemy soldiers.
They're probably KGB troops sent to guard Sokolov.
AK-47s and grenades.
Snake, your presence in Soviet territory is already a violation of international law. We can't let the Kremlin find out that the CIA and the American government are involved. Contact with the enemy is strictly prohibited. Don't engage them in battle either. This is a stealth mission. Got that?
The Major is right. The point of this mission is to sneak through the jungle without...
Huh? The enemy is close by. What's wrong? I hear something. There's nothing here.
Alors du coup, j'essaie de jouer propre, hein, évidemment. Bon, bien sûr, vous n'êtes pas obligé de passer tout en infiltration. Vous pouvez faire en mode full. Oula, le mec qui arrive là, merde. Full bourrin, mais bon, c'est pas vraiment le but, quoi. Est-ce qu'ils vont venir jusque là? Je suis pas sûr aussi. Bon, le radar il me gêne un peu, ça sert à rien finalement. Hop. Allez, cassez-vous. Merci. Oh putain, il va se pointer, oh non. Enfin, je vous montre, on peut prendre nos filles, on peut faire des prises de CQC aussi. Je vais essayer de vous montrer. Attends. Alors, on peut les interroger, par contre, je sais plus la touche. Carré, non, je sais plus. Non, c'est triangle. Oh, pardon. Ah bah, je l'ai égorgé, merde. Je sais plus c'est quel bouton pour les interroger. On peut les interroger, hein, les mecs. Hein. Voilà. Donc déjà, rien que ce gameplay-là, déjà, hein, c'est déjà très évolué. Même si c'est un petit peu vieilli au niveau des contrôles du personnage. Oula, merde. Mais bon, ça va, quoi. Ça reste tout à fait jouable. What? Pourquoi il est tombé, lui? Ah, mais je l'avais touché? Non, je me rappelle plus. On va se prendre un petit champignon. Ça pourra servir. Hop. Ok. Oh, je l'ai pas eu, lui. Touché. R1, non. Merde, moi j'ai encore tué, bon, c'est pas grave. Alors avant d'avancer là-bas dans le jeu, on va aller voir ce qu'il y a par là. J'essaie de faire un... On pouvait faire des tractions, regardez, comme dans MGS2. Hop, voilà. Voilà. Oula, il y a des bons trucs ici, j'ai l'impression. Alors, c'est quoi ça? Oh, c'est une nouvelle arme? Ah, oh. Ah bah non. Alors, à moins qu'il faut l'équiper dans le menu, sac à dos. Ouais, ici, il faut l'équiper. Hop. En fait, vous pouvez équiper... vous avez un inventaire, je peux dire infini, mais presque. Mais vous pouvez équiper que 8 choses. 8 armes à droite, vous voyez. Vous devez choisir, donc. Pareil pour le côté gauche. Hein. Là, je peux équiper l'insecticide, voilà, bon. Le cigare, je m'en fous. Ça, je m'en ça, je m'en fous. Ça, je peux pas l'enlever. Bon, voilà. Ça fait moins de poids et votre personnage est plus maniable, du coup. Allez, fais voir l'arme. Ah ouais, bien. Ah, ça fait plaisir, ça. Merde. Oh putain, le con. Ah, faire attention au bruit, hein. C'est très bruyant, les armes, donc ça peut attirer les ennemis. Bon, je pense que je vous apprends rien. Allez, monte. Alors, je vais reprendre le... Hop. C'est tout à fait possible de jouer en mode bourrin, hein. Mais bon. Allez, race-faite. Ah, je coupe mon micro.
Major, I've reached the abandoned factory where Sokolov is supposedly being held. This place is a dump. I can't see Sokolov from here. The security is pretty tight. There are sentries posted around the perimeter. I wonder how many are inside.
Your objective, Sokolov, is inside the factory. They should be holding him in a room in the northeast section.
Northeast section. Got it.
Be careful. Your mission is to bring Sokolov back alive. He must not be exposed to any kind of danger. Do not approach Sokolov while in the alert phase.
Right.
Oh, and one more thing, Snake.
You mean there's more?
No, it's just that when you get to Sokolov, I want you to tell him something from me.
And that is?
Sorry for being so late.
Is that all?
Yes.
Understood. Beginning my approach to the target.
Alors, ouais, ok. Qu'est-ce que je voulais vous dire? J'ai déjà oublié. Bon, c'est pas grave. Hop. Alors... Toujours un plaisir à jouer à ce jeu, vraiment, c'est... J'ai hâte pour le remake, hein. J'espère qu'ils vont pas se foirer. Toi, tu dégages. Ça reste tout à fait jouable, hein. Alors oui, certes, il y a un tout petit peu de rigidité, mais bon, ça reste... c'est pas vraiment gênant, quoi. Tac, on va le cacher dans l'herbe. Merci pour la grenade. Oh putain, oh putain. Oh putain, le con. Ouais, je voulais le mettre en joue comme dans BGS2. Vous savez, comme ça, à l'attaque, haut les mains, quoi. Ça, c'est énorme. Du coup, bon, il doit rester tombé. Alors, faut délivrer Sokolov qui est retenu là-bas. Donc, je vais voir si je peux passer par là, tiens. Ouais, ah, bien sûr. Alors, j'espère que je suis encore en direct, hein. J'ai pas de message là, donc depuis tout à l'heure. Vérifie, ouais, c'est bon. Je suis bien en direct. Allez, go. Oh putain, putain. Oh, il va me voir, merde. Mais non, t'as rien vu. Oh le con, Putain. Ah putain, je me suis fait repérer comme un boulet. Ça c'est bon. Oh putain, ah, j'ai fait le con. Hein. Alors ouais, je vais en mode bourrin, tiens, hop. On va se faire plaisir un peu. Call of Duty. Ouais, je les joue pas comme ça, vraiment là, c'est juste pour vous montrer, pour rigoler. Hein, mais... Oh, ce carnage. Ce carnage, lol. Le mec il est là, hein, je crois, dans cette pièce. Je vais pas y aller parce que je suis en alerte. Merde, l'autre côté du con. Ce carnage. Un appel.
Snake, do you read? Snake.
S'il veut.
Snake, you all right?
Oui, je sais, ta gueule. Merci. J'ai plus de santé, oui, je sais, j'ai plus de santé, c'est pas grave. Ouais, j'arrête mes conneries. Allez, elle va s'arrêter, de toute façon. Là. Alors, on peut regagner de la santé en vous allongeant, en restant immobile quelques secondes, vous voyez, en haut à gauche. La santé remonte, mais bon, c'est très long. Voilà, mais c'est bon à savoir, quand même. Je vais attendre l'évasion, en haut à droite. Parce que j'ai plus de balles. Vas-y, putain, oh, je fais que de la merde, là. J'avais bien joué au début, là, je fais que de la merde. Allez. On y a rien. Mais non, t'as rien vu, c'est un chat. Voilà, enfoiré, vous avez vu? Il vous tape avec le flingue. Ah là 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 là. Ils vont se pointer à 50 là. Ouais. Bon, j'ai essayé de me faire tuer parce que j'ai fait que de la merde, allez-y. Allez, tu vois du con. Ça, ils sont pas doués. Hein. On va recommencer proprement parce que là ça va pas. Allez, on s'en fout. Voilà. Allez, c'est parti. Cette fois-ci, on a un jeu correct. Voilà. Voilà, hop. Vous avez vu ce que ça fait quand on se fait repérer, c'est l'enfer. Hein, donc, ne veut pas se faire repérer, hein, clairement. Attendez. Non mais, on peut pas marcher quand il est accroupi. Ça, c'est vraiment chiant. On peut le faire que dans MGS4, 5, je crois. MGS4, je sais plus. Ouais, si MGS4, on peut. Ouais. C'est vraiment chiant parce que, vous voyez, j'aurais bien marché accroupi, vous voyez. Mais là, on peut pas, malheureusement. Quand vous avancez, il fait comme ça. Donc, voilà. C'est ça qui est dommage. Ah, fusil à pompe énorme. Ça, c'est vraiment dommage qu'on puisse pas marcher accroupi. Il est où? Là-bas. Bon, je vais tous les endormir, on sera tranquille. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a là-haut au fait? Je me rappelle plus. Ah oui, on peut faire tomber un baril, je me rappelle. Regardez. Hop là. Merde. Oh le con. Merde. Oh le con. Oh le con. va juste attendre la fin de la prudence et ça sera bon. Vous voyez, c'est des zones où on peut s'amuser quoi avec les gardes. Vraiment, c'est énorme. Merde, ils ont repéré les gardes là-bas. Oh putain. Zut. Ça va être long. Parce qu'ils sont en train de trouver les gardes qui sont endormis du coup, et forcément, ça descend pas vite. Bon, accélérer hein, sur des rediff. Hein. Ouais. Parce qu'on peut pas, de toute façon, on peut pas continuer la mission tant que c'est en alerte. Ouais. On va leur foutre une balle. Hop, ça soit tranquille. Alors le silencieux s'use, vous voyez, en haut à droite. Enfin, en bas à droite, mais en haut, la case blanche, c'est le silencieux qui s'use. Donc il faudra faire attention. On est 4 de chance, heureusement. Bon, c'est long, là. On peut pas aller plus vite, là. Ils sont où, les mecs? Détecteur de mouvement. Consomme des batteries. Oui, ça, j'ai bien compris. Ils sont là-bas, ok. Ils arrivent, oh putain de merde. Oh putain, parce qu'ils écoutent les sons aussi que vous faites, hein. Quand vous marchez, vous courez, etc. Oh là là, je suis pas dans la merde. Je suis pas dans la merde. Mais non. Oh là là. Bon, excusez-moi, vraiment là, je suis mauvais, mais d'une force. Oh là. Quel enfer. Tout ça pour vous montrer un baril à la con. Eh ben. Donc c'est là qu'il faut aller, hein, la porte. Alors forcément, je peux pas y aller, je suis en alerte. Ah bon, désolé. Ah, j'ai pas très bien joué là. Bon.
This is HQ. Patrol here. We've lost sight of the enemy.
Ouais, est-ce que je peux aller en phase d'alerte? Je suis pas sûr. Hein. Ouais, si c'est bon. On va pouvoir continuer.
You must be Sokolov.
Are you one of Volgin's men? You'll never get it from me.
No. I'm a CIA agent. I've come to escort you back to the other side of the Iron Curtain.
You're CIA?
Yeah. I was sent by Major Zero, the man who got you out 2 years ago.
Zero?
I have a message from him.
What is it?
He said to tell you sorry for being so late.
Did he now?
What does it mean?
It means he's a man of his word. But we've got no time for this. You have to get me out of here before they arrive.
Who's they?
Colonel Volgin of GRU. You in the West know him as Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt? Never heard of him.
He's a member of the Army's extremist faction, a man who seeks to seize control of the motherland. Ever since the Cuban Missile Crisis 2 years ago, Khrushchev has been pursuing a policy of peaceful coexistence with the West. Despite resistance and criticism from hawks in the army and the provincial authorities, Khrushchev has managed to suppress the opposition so far. But the failure of his agricultural policies has put him in a precarious position. And on top of that, the tragedy last November.
President Kennedy's assassination.
Precisely. In a sense, Khrushchev has lost his biggest partner, and his power base is rapidly crumbling away. A certain group is plotting to use this opportunity to seize power by rallying the anti-government forces, overthrowing Khrushchev, and installing Brezhnev and Kosygin in his place. The mastermind behind this plot is Colonel Volgin of the GRU. He has control over another secret weapons research facility much like this one, OKB-812, known as the Granin Design Bureau, and is using it to further his plans. But that is not enough to satisfy him. Now he's plotting to seize the secret weapon I have been developing here and use it as leverage in his bid for power. The intelligence says that they are going to make their move during the test.
Then, the soldiers outside.
Exactly. They wouldn't need that many men just to keep me inside. Their orders were to prevent Colonel Volgin from capturing me. Even if it meant killing me in the process, or so it would seem. Volgin will come. I'm sure of it. You must get me out of here before then.
Leave it to me.
By the way, your Russian is superb. Where did you learn to speak it?
From my mentor.
Is that so? America is truly a frightening country.
Having second thoughts?
No. I have no love for this place. Let's go.
Major, this is Snake. Sokolov is safe with me. He's doing fine. No injuries.
Good work, Snake. Now hurry up and get Sokolov to the recovery point. We'll rendezvous with you there.
Roger.
What about the sentries?
I had to kill them. There was no other way. But no one will know we were involved.
I see.
What about the boss?
We lost contact with the boss some time ago.
What happened?
It's probably just a weak signal. Just hurry and get Sokolov out of there.
Freeze!
So this is the legendary boss.
Huh?
We meet at last.
You're from the Ocelot unit of Spetsnaz. Huh. What's a GRU soldier doing here?
Soldier?
He's the Ocelot commander.
Ha! That's Major Ocelot to you. And don't you forget it.
Sokolov is ours. Now get out of here.
And Ocelot never lets his prey escape.
What?
I can't say it feels good to kill a comrade, even if it is for the GRU.
Sokolov, take cover.
Huh. You're not the boss, are you?
GRU operatives!
What is that stance? Huh. That gun. If you're not the boss, then die.
Major! Leave it! Shoot the other one! Whoa!
You ejected the first bullet by hand, didn't you? I see what you were trying to do. But testing a technique you've only heard about in the middle of battle wasn't very smart. You were asking to have your gun jam on you. Besides, I don't think you're cut out for an automatic in the first place. You tend to twist your elbow to absorb the recoil. That's more of a revolver technique.
You filthy American dog!
But that was some fancy shooting. You're pretty good.
Pretty good.
Major, do you read me?
I read you. Snake, you all right?
I've run into a few snags. These guys were after Sokolov too. Apparently they were taking orders from a GRU colonel named Volgan.
A GRU colonel?
Part of an internal Soviet power struggle, according to Sokolov. Something between the KGB and GRU. Between Khrushchev's supporters and Volgan's.
Sokolov was being guarded by the KGB and hunted by GRU? Snake, it sounds like this could be even hotter than Cuba.
I don't like it. Something about the whole thing stinks.
I agree. You'd better hurry.
Sokolov ran off by himself, but I'll catch up to him.
We're counting on you.
Alors, comme vous avez pu le constater, cinématique exceptionnelle, franchement grandiose, rien à dire, du très très grand niveau. Il n'y a rien à récupérer là-dedans. Sous le linon. Bon, il y a plein de petits trucs à récupérer, hein, des trucs si vous cherchez bien, mais bon, on n'a pas trop le temps, là, j'essaie d'avancer quand même. Est-ce qu'on peut récupérer son dog tag à lui, là? Quelque chose, non? Il lâche rien? C'est une souricière, lol. Bon, bref, allez, on avance. Ah, ça va pas y passer la journée. Je crois que c'est par là. Je sais plus où c'est. La suite. C'est là? On peut pas y aller. On peut aller en haut d'ailleurs, tiens, on peut aller voir ce qu'il y a. Un pigeon. Ouais. Il est parti par où l'autre? Ah, je sais rien, je me rappelle plus. Faut aller où là? Vite. Ah non, c'est pas là. Bah, attends, je suis con quoi là. C'est où la suite? Ça peut pas être là, c'est là que je viens. Zut, c'est où déjà? Bah non, ça peut être que là-bas. Hein. Ah si. Faut faire pousser le baril là, c'est vrai, je me rappelle plus. On va à la porte, non, c'est ça? Ou pas? Non mais de l'autre côté, oh là là, l'enfer. Il y a des rats. Oula. Il y a rien d'autre. Non. C'est où qu'on va? Je sais plus. Ah, franchement, là, j'aurais joué que ça s'ouvrait et qu'on passait par là, en fait. Je peux pas passer, non? Bizarre, bizarre. Quelle petite grenade. Ouais, tiens, on va essayer. Je pense pas. On a point visé. Oh là 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 là. Non, c'est pas ça. Ah, j'ai honte, hein, je sais même pas où faut aller. Ah non, c'était la route avant, à gauche. Oh, je sais plus. Je me rappelle plus. Ah oui, putain, je suis bête. Excusez-moi. Hein. Excusez-moi.
You okay? Those men were from the Ocelot unit.
Spetsnaz?
Yes. The best crew has to offer. They're coming for me. I'm finished!
Calm down. I'll get you out of here, I promise. And we've got some of the best backup we could ask for.
Look.
That's what they were making you build?
Yes. The Shagohod. The treading behemoth. A tank capable of launching nuclear IRBMs.
It can launch nuclear missiles from that kind of terrain?
Oh, yes. And without support from friendly units.
A nuclear-equipped tank capable of operating solo. Is that thing finished?
No. This is only the end of Phase 1. It won't be truly finished until we complete Phase 2.
Phase 2?
The weapon's true form. If it is completed and the Colonel gets his hands on it, it will mean the end of the Cold War.
The end of the Cold War?
Yes. And then the Age of Fear will truly begin.
A world war.
I had no choice but to cooperate. I didn't want to die. I wanted to see my wife and child again in America. Please, take me to America, quickly. They cannot complete it without my help.
Got it. Let's go. Boss?
Good work, Jack.
What are you doing here?
Sokolov comes with me.
Hornets?
My friends, let us fight together again.
I have waited long for this day.
We will fight with you once more. Welcome back, boss.
Now that all 5 of us are together, it's time we go to the depths of hell itself. It's raining blood. Is he crying?
Kuwabara, Kuwabara. Ah, what a joyful scene.
Colonel Vogan.
Welcome to my country. And to my unit.
Boss, what is this?
I'm defecting to the Soviet Union. Sokolov is a little gift from my new hosts.
Recoilless nuclear warheads. These will make a fine gift for me.
This can't be happening.
Who is he? Another one of your disciples? Are we taking him with us?
No, this one is still just a child. Too pure for us Cobras. He has not yet found an emotion to carry into battle.
What are you talking about?
Think you can pull the trigger?
He's seen my face. We can't let him live. If Khrushchev finds out about this, we're finished. He must die.
Wait. He's my apprentice. I'll take care of him. Jack, you can't come with us.
The new blood has been rejected. Are we done here?
Now, onto Sokolov's research facility.
Shagohod is ours.
Drift away. My place is with them now.
Snake, can you hear me?
Yeah. Just barely.
Snake, listen to me. You need emergency medical treatment. Can you move? You've got to get those wounds treated. Hang in there. All right, let's get you fixed up. Paramedic?
Okay, Snake. Just relax and it'll all be over before you know it. Stay with me. I've seen people in worse shape before. Think you can handle it?
Major. The boss. She's defected.
We'll talk about that later. First, we've got to get you patched up.
Okay, here we go. First, open the survival viewer with the start button. If you select cure, you can start the treatment. Healing is divided into treatment using medicine with the item window button and surgical treatment using the weapon window button. Your injuries include a fractured left elbow and rib bone, and lacerations on your upper arms, right elbow, and abdomen. They need to be fixed using surgical treatment. Move the healing cursor with the left stick to the affected part of your body. Once you've selected the affected area, hold the weapon window button and use the left stick to select the medical item, and then press the enter button. With this method, you can use items to help your recovery process. To treat a bone fracture, first secure the affected area with a fastener and then wrap it in bandages. That should do it. For lacerations, you'll need disinfectant to clean the wound, sutures to stitch it up, styptic to slow the flow of blood, and bandages to wrap the wound. If you do everything I mentioned, the wound should heal completely. Understood?
Yeah.
Stay with me. Go into the survival viewer and treat those wounds. Good job, Snake.
We're coming to get you now. Just stay where you are. We'll drop a recovery balloon. Can you set it up?
Shagohod.
Excellent. A great success. Thanks to the boss and her cobras, I have both Sokolov and the Shagohod.
What are we going to do with the girl?
Who is she?
Apparently she's Sokolov's woman.
She's a nice catch. I'll take her. Not so fast, my dear. A kiss of death?
Are you KGB?
We may be able to use her. She has spunk.
Shall we take her back to the base?
Perhaps we should. We have no further use for Sokolov's research facility. I think it's time I gave this marvelous new toy a try.
Colonel, even if they are our enemies, they're still our countrymen.
But it won't be me that pulled the trigger. It'll be our friend, the American defector.
You're going to nuke your fellow Russians?
Remember the Alamo.
Colonel!
in silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I'd lie to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Someday you go through the rain, and someday you'll feed on a tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive. For the day we see new light, I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I'd lie to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. I'm still in a dream, snake eater.
Currently flying over the Arctic Ocean, altitude 30,000 feet, approaching Soviet airspace. Arriving at the designated drone launch point. Drone oil pressure and voltage are nominal. Payload oxygen supply is nominal. Power supply to payload antifreeze system shows no problems. No gusts. All systems go for drone detachment.
Snake, we can't risk a halo jump this time around. Airspace security has gotten tighter since we were last here. We can't get as close to the ground as we did during the Virtuous mission. So instead, we'll be using one of our newest weapons. Snake, you're being given an honor on par with Alan Shepard. This is our last chance. Show your patriotism. If you fail, you'll be back in a hospital bed again, waiting for the firing squad. So how does it feel to be a patient in one of the most advanced ICUs in the world?
Would you do me a favor and tell the suits about visiting hours? I'll never get better with them assaulting me day and night with their questions.
Must be part of the top brass's inquiry.
More like an interrogation. According to them, I'm a traitor and an accomplice to the boss's defection.
They're just looking for a scapegoat.
Does that mean they're after you, too?
Let's just say neither one of us is going to be made a national hero out of this.
Does this mean Fox is going to die?
No. This fox is still one step ahead of the hounds. The reason I came to see you today, Jack, it's time for Fox to clear its name.
What are you talking about?
The situation has changed. We still got a chance to come out of this one alive.
Yeah, what kind of chance?
Don't get too excited. Here, have a cigar. It's Cuban. This morning, I had a meeting with the CIA.
They decided when they're going to execute us?
No. Something even bigger. Yesterday, the White House received an unexpected call.
President Johnson?
Yes, I hear you, Mr. Chairman.
It was a hotline call from Khrushchev to President Johnson.
From the head of the Soviet Union?
That's right.
A few days ago, one of our country's main design bureaus, OKB 754, was destroyed in a nuclear explosion. At about the same time, our anti-aircraft radar picked up a signature that appeared to come from one of your military aircraft. Does any of this sound familiar to you? In retaliation, I have placed our armed forces on secondary alert. Depending on your response, I may be left with no choice but to order the military to maximum alert and unleash Armageddon. With the help of your predecessor, I was able to survive the Cuban incident. But my power is not as great as it once was. If I am to survive this crisis, I must have your full cooperation.
I should have contacted you myself. Did you know that one of our soldiers defected to your country a week ago?
No.
So you haven't heard then? The man who arranged the defection was a GRU colonel by the name of Yevgeny Borosovich Volgin.
Volgin? Of the Brezhnev faction. Go on. Who is the soldier?
Her name is the Boss. She's a living legend. During World War II, she was the one who led us to victory in that war. In Russia, you know her as Voyevoda.
You mean the Boss? The mother of your special forces?
Yes, that's the one. And she took 2 miniature nuclear shells along with her.
The Boss took 2 miniature nuclear shells?
I'm afraid so. I believe they were a gift for her new hosts. The Davy Crockett Atomic Battle Group delivery system was completed 2 years ago. But serious problems were found with the launcher's range and precision. Although they were mass-produced, they've never been deployed in battle.
But Sokolov's research facility was completely wiped out. The whole area is polluted.
I can only offer you my deepest condolences over this terrible tragedy.
So, the Boss, with Colonel Volgin's help, stole 2 experimental nuclear shells and took them with her as gift when she defected. Then, shortly thereafter, Sokolov's design lab, a top-secret military research facility, was destroyed by one of these weapons. Am I right so far?
Yes, that's correct.
And the American government denies any involvement in the affair. Is that right as well?
That's correct. We were not involved in any way.
Then what was a U.S. military aircraft doing on our radar screen? It was clearly in violation of our airspace. And yet you say it was not acting under your orders.
That's correct.
You expect me to believe that this was all the work of a single soldier?
I don't know what else to tell you.
The Army insists that this is all a ploy on your part.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. Our government had nothing to do with it.
And I would like dearly to believe you. However, I'm afraid my power over the military has weakened since the Cuban incident. I will need some kind of proof that this was not the action of the American government. You have 1 week. You must catch the Boss yourselves and recover the remaining nuclear device. Then, you must find some way to prove your innocence.
Prove our innocence?
Yes, preferably something painful. Prove to me that this is not merely another one of your tricks.
The Boss should be close to Colonel Volgin. How about a little co-action?
I would not expect too much if I were you. The political situation here is unstable. And Colonel Volgin is a member of the Brezhnev faction, which seeks to topple my government. 1 week. You have only 1 week. And if it is not too much to ask, do something about Volgin as well.
What is that supposed to mean?
Nothing means nothing. Call it a modest gentleman's agreement to ensure our continued relationship.
What if we can't prove our innocence?
Then I will be unable to restrain the military. I will be ousted, and they will seek their revenge.
A nuclear attack on the United States?
I leave the disposal of this situation entirely to your discretion, Mr. President.
Disposal, huh?
If you fail, it will mean the beginning of a new world war.
To put it simply, in order to avoid a full-scale nuclear conflict, we have to prove that America was not involved in that explosion.
And eliminating the boss ourselves will prove America's innocence?
Right. The higher-ups have decided that you're the only one capable of pulling this off. You were her last apprentice. Screw this one up, and we'll both be 6 feet under. There's no choice.
Are the Russians going to be helping us?
The KGB has promised to lend us one of their communications satellites so that you and I can talk to each other.
That's it?
They've also put us in touch with a couple of insiders.
Insiders?
There was a defection in September 1960. Do you remember it?
You mean the 2 NSA codebreakers who went over to the Soviet Union?
Precisely. Since then, they've apparently been training with the KGB for exactly this kind of situation. Their code names are Adam and Eva. I've been told that Adam has infiltrated Volgin's ranks. I've also arranged for him to provide you with an escape route. You'll need to rendezvous with him when you get there.
Control. Unidentified aircraft detected. Altitude 30,000 feet. It's fast. Estimated airspeed exceeding Mach 3. Bearing south. I'm about to lose it.
This is Snake. Do you read me?
Loud and clear. Glad to see you landed safely.
I got blown pretty far off target.
Snake, let's go over your mission objectives one more time. Rescue Sokolov. Find out what's happened to the Shagohod, then destroy it. And finally, eliminate the boss.
Eliminate the boss?
This mission will be codenamed Operation Snake Eater.
Because I'll be taking on the boss and our Cobra unit, right?
Don't forget about Colonel Volgin.
I'm not a hired killer.
I know, but that was the Kremlin's demand.
Demand? You mean it wasn't just a request? What's it to us if the Khrushchev regime is threatened by the Colonel and his faction?
If supporting the current regime helps us avoid a nuclear exchange, then that's what we'll do.
And what are the CIA's demands?
Our priorities are the rescue of Sokolov and the destruction of the Shagohod.
Roger that, Major Tom.
Hold on, Snake.
What now?
I'm changing my codename. It turns out Tom wasn't the most auspicious choice.
What do you mean?
Well, the truth is, when I chose my codename, I picked the wrong one.
The wrong one?
Did you ever see the movie The Great Escape? It came out last year.
I must have missed that one.
Anyway, it's based on a true story about prisoners who escaped from a POW camp in Nazi Germany. The prisoners dig 3 tunnels as part of their plan, but the Nazis find 2 of the tunnels before they're finished. The prisoners succeed in escaping by using the last remaining tunnel. The names of those 3 tunnels were Dick, Harry, and Tom.
I get it. You used the name of the tunnel they escaped in as your code name because you thought it would bring you good luck.
Yes, that's exactly right. At least, that was the plan.
But
I got the name wrong. The one they escaped in was Harry. Tom was one of the unlucky tunnels. It was discovered by the Nazis before it was finished. I watched the movie again just to make sure. In fact, I even ordered the actual film from the movie company.
yeah, it doesn't sound like the greatest name to use. So what should I call you?
You know, let's just use Zero, like we've been doing all along.
All right, then. Major Zero it is. We'll start over from square one.
From square 0. My frequency is 140.85. Oh, I almost forgot. Paramedic is with us again on this mission.
Is this her last chance, too?
If we fail, she'll have her medical license revoked. It's more or less the same kind of fate. Her frequency is the same as during the Virtuous mission, 145.73. She'll be recording your mission data as well, just like the last time. That frequency is also the same, 140.96. And there's one more person on your support team. His name is Mr. Sigint. He's an expert on the latest in weapons and equipment technology. You'll be going up against some of the world's most advanced weaponry when you infiltrate the research facility. If you have any questions, just ask him. His frequency is 148.41.
Mr. Sigint. Got it.
Adam, your KGB contact, is waiting for you at the abandoned factory up ahead.
The same factory Sokolov was being held in last week.
Yes, meet up with Adam first. He's cleared the way for you to rescue Sokolov.
How will I know this Adam guy when I see him?
You'll know once you reach the factory. The whole area's been polluted by the fallout from that nuclear blast. No one else would dare come close. The password is, "Who are the Patriots?" and "Lali Lule Lo."
Lali Lule Lo. Gotcha.
You've been equipped with a 45 for this mission. Be careful, it's noisy.
I thought standard Fox procedure was procure on-site weapons acquisition.
The circumstances are different this time. You're now on an official mission for the United States government. It would be necessary to make your presence known to a certain extent, to the Khrushchev regime at the very least. But remember, this is still a sneaking mission. Snake, if you fail this mission, it will mean an all-out nuclear war. Keep that in mind and proceed with extreme caution.
Understood. Commencing Operation Snake Eater.
Dis donc, énorme. Ça, c'était des cinématiques, les gars. Hein. Au moins 1 minute, là, combien? Bon, vous avez vu le niveau, hein. Franchement, là, c'est vraiment un jeu... c'est pensé dans les moindres détails, hein. C'est vraiment incroyable. Hein. Bref. Bon, bah écoutez, on va s'arrêter là. Ça fait déjà pas mal de temps, là. Alors, bon, je vous rassure, ce sera pas tout le temps comme ça. Il y a quand même, là, c'était le début, il y a beaucoup de cinématiques. Il y en a un peu moins par la suite, mais bon, il y en aura quand même. Vraiment énorme. Franchement, ça fait plaisir d'y rejouer. Ah oui, putain, ça fait du bruit, hein, effectivement. Qu'est-ce que j'ai d'autre? J'ai rien d'autre. Ils m'ont pas mis mon... Qu'est-ce que j'ai comme arme? Ah non, j'ai pas de... J'ai pas le silencieux, hein, c'est abusé. Hein. Ok. Bon, bref. Camouflage. J'en ai pas rajouté, non, toujours pareil. Hein. Ok, bon bah voilà. Hein. Bah, dites-moi ce que vous avez pensé en commentaire, franchement énorme. Enfin, franchement, je suis toujours bluffé. Hein. C'est vraiment un jeu... Exceptionnel. Rien à dire là-dessus. Ouais, c'est quoi? Merde, il est où? Ah, je l'ai perdu. Donc c'est maintenant que le jeu démarre, hein, vraiment, vous avez compris, hein, c'était un espèce de prologue. Voilà, le vrai jeu commence maintenant. Donc c'est parti pour une longue épopée d'infiltration. Voilà. Avec des boss monumentaux à combattre, des révélations à trouver, des secrets à trouver. Vraiment, c'est énorme. Donc comme j'ai dit, je ferai un let's play intégral hein, quand j'aurai le temps, pas tout de suite. Hein. Quand on sera dans un mois creux quoi. Mais je vous compte bien faire le let's play intégral. Hein. Ah.
Looks like death wasn't ready for you yet.
Boss.
That arm still hurt?
What are you doing here?
Go home. Go home. Gru and my sons are waiting up ahead. You don't have a prayer of finishing your mission. You're not even armed.
Boss.
I'm not your boss anymore. There's nothing for you here. Go home. Go back to your boss. There's no need to prove that you are virtuous here. This isn't America. That should stir things up a bit. You'd better hurry. The border is 60 miles south of here. You ought to be able to run that far.
Why'd you defect?
I didn't. I'm loyal to the end, to my purpose. What about you, Jack? What's it going to be? Loyalty to your country or loyalty to me? Your country or your old mentor? The mission or your beliefs? Your duty to your unit or your personal feelings? You don't know the truth yet. But sooner or later, you'll have to choose. I don't expect you to forgive me. But you can't defeat me either. You know me too well. Just look at that bandana. If you can't put the past behind you, you won't survive long. If we meet again, I'll kill you. Now, go home.
This is Snake. Major Zero.
I read you, Snake.
I was ambushed by the boss.
You were what?
The drone's been shot to hell. It's up in flames.
That's not good. Enemy scouts are going to come looking for you.
Yeah, I know. But what was the boss doing here in the first place? There's got to be a leak somewhere.
No, that's impossible. The man the boss is working with, Volgin, isn't exactly on speaking terms with Khrushchev.
I lost my gun. The boss destroyed it.
Snake, I know how you're feeling. It's hard for me to believe, too, that a legendary hero like the boss would go over to the Russians. That she'd double-cross us like this. But that's how it is, and if you don't accept it, you'll never be able to beat her.
That's not the problem. In terms of sheer technique, I'll never be able to beat her. I know that all too well.
You've got to do it, Snake. She's your enemy and your objective.
Enemy? We were together for 10 years, and now you tell me she's my enemy?
Enough. Hurry to the factory where Adam is waiting. Scouts have probably already been sent out to investigate the explosion. You've lost your weapon, right? That means you've got no chance of winning in a battle situation. Whatever you do, don't let them see you.
Pop, pop, pop. Alors, niveau charisme, je pense qu'on est sur la femme la plus charismatique de l'histoire du jeu vidéo. Hein. Clairement, c'est vraiment... Oh merde, putain, ils arrivent. Ils sont où? Bon, on va vraiment s'arrêter là, les gars. Oh putain, oh putain. J'espère que ça vous aura plu, franchement. Là, franchement, si vous n'avez pas aimé, je peux plus rien pour vous. Hein. Vraiment exceptionnel ce jeu, vraiment exceptionnel. C'est... Je sais pas quoi dire, hein. Vraiment là, les images parlent d'elles-mêmes, hein. C'est vraiment énorme. Qu'est-ce que vous voulez que je vous dise? Donc sorti sur PS2 en 2004. Hein. Je répète, PS2, PlayStation 2 en 2004. Voilà. Merci, au revoir, bonne journée. Bon allez, sac à dos. Bon, j'ai rien du tout, j'ai même pas d'armes, il va falloir que j'en récupère. Bon. Allez, on va s'arrêter là. Je vais sauvegarder. Hop. Sauvegarder. Bon, après, chaque fois, il nous raconte sa vie, je m'en fous. Allez, on s'en fout. Voilà. Bon, je précise que vous pouvez zapper toutes les cinématiques. Hein. Moi, je vous les laisse pour voilà, découvrir le scénario, mais quand vous faites des NG+, vous pouvez tout zapper, il n'y a pas de problème. Ou même quand vous faites le jeu de base, il n'y a pas de souci. Bon, bref. Merci à tous. Allez, ciao. Donc, je continuerai le jeu donc en let's play quand j'aurai le temps. Hein. Donc bombardez de pouces bleus, abonnez-vous, etc. Laissez un petit commentaire, au moins pour le jeu. Voilà, ça fera toujours plaisir de parler de ce jeu. Vraiment un chef-d'œuvre. J'ai hâte de voir le remake hein, qui va sortir d'ici je sais pas quand. On est en octobre 2023, bah, je sais pas quand il sortira, peut-être en 2025, 2026, je sais pas. Bref, allez, ciao les gars, merci à tous. Merde, quitter. C'est quoi déjà pour quitter? Mais c'est pas ça, oh là, comment faire? Start. Ah, je me suis repéré. Allez. Konami. Et si vous souhaitez voir ma vidéo sur Metal Gear Solid 5, elle est déjà dispo hein, depuis 2 ans, je crois, hein, je l'ai faite. Je dévoile tout le jeu, je vous montre tous les aspects. Je me suis vraiment fait chier pour la faire. Donc voilà, tapez le nom de ma chaîne plus Metal Gear Solid 5 et vous verrez bien. Mais bon, je pense que j'en ferai une autre peut-être à l'occasion. Mais elle était déjà très bien celle-ci. Allez, merci à tous, ciao. Alors 2012, c'est la sortie de la HD édition hein, qui est sortie sur PS3 et 360. Parce que c'est des versions master, donc c'est un portage des versions HD édition. Allez, ciao.